everyone. Welcome to the Arm Coach Podcast, episode 96. So, listen, yesterday was kind of a quiet little milestone for me because I wrote the final entry in my first 5-year diary. And if you've never seen one of these, let me paint the picture. It's this simple little book where you write just a couple lines every single day for 5 years. That's it. No long essays, no perfect paragraphs, just a little snapshot of your life in real time. Each page is devoted to one day and it's split into 5 small sections. So when you flip to January 1st, you'll see 5 tiny spaces stacked on top of each other. In the diary I just finished, I have an entry for every single day from 2020 through 2025. And writing that last entry for December 31st, honestly, felt a little surreal. Like, wow, I actually showed up for myself for 5 straight years. And here's why I love this format so much. Once you've made it through a full year, every time you turn to a new page, you get this instant time capsule. You get to see exactly what you were thinking, feeling, struggling with, celebrating. And the coolest part is noticing the patterns, noticing what changed, and noticing what didn't change until you changed it. Which, if you've ever struggled with consistency in your arm routines, your eating habits, or even just showing up for yourself, you know how magical that kind of awareness can be. Now, I'll be real honest with you. This was the first time in my entire life I've ever stuck with that kind of journaling. Before this, I was the girl who would buy a cute notebook, pour my soul into it for like 6 days, then completely forget it. And the minute a week went by, my brain was like, you blew it. Might as well quit. Sound familiar? But here's the thing, a 5-year diary doesn't ask you for a novel, it asks you for 2 sentences, maybe 3. Which made it ridiculously easy to keep going. And the reason I even started one in 2020 was because earlier that year, I'd been cleaning out a closet and found a stack of my old half finished planners, pages that were supposed to track workouts that I never stuck to, goals I never circled back to, promises I meant at the time but didn't follow through on. And instead of beating myself up, something in me went, there has to be a gentler way to stay connected to my life, right? To my habits, to the woman I say I want to become. So I got the diary for Christmas. And when January rolled around, I cracked open that first little square of blank space and thought, okay, let's try this again, but this time differently. And listen, I'm going to tell you, 2 pretty incredible things came out of this whole 5-year diary experiment. And the first one, I could have never predicted. When I started writing in 2020, the world had just flipped upside down. I was at home, routines were shattered, gyms closed, plans canceled, trying to figure out how to be a woman in a world that suddenly made zero sense. And even though life was technically fine, I felt this low simmer of dissatisfaction running under everything. Not because of the pandemic itself, but because the quiet made me notice things I'd been ignoring for years. Like the fact that I didn't feel strong in my body anymore, or how much time I spent doubting myself, or how often I waited for normal life to start before I let myself change anything. If you've listened to this podcast for a while, you know how different things look for me now. I built a business helping women transform their arms and their identity. I learned how to trust myself. I stopped abandoning my goals every time life felt inconvenient. I became the arm coach, which still makes me laugh because it feels so far away from that version of me sitting on the couch in 2020 trying to talk myself into doing a 10-minute workout. So when I look back at those entries from 2020 through 2025, it blows my mind how much shifted in such a short period of time. To see the evolution captured day by day in tiny sentences, it's honestly wild. But the second thing I discovered is even better. Once I had that first full year written, every time I went to add a new entry, I'd read what happened that same day the year before. And something profound kept popping up. The good moments were way better than I realized in the moment. And the hard moments, most of them were nothing but little blips. Now, yet, when I was actually living inside those emotions, I did the exact opposite. I minimized the joy, rushed past the wins, and zoomed in on the discomfort like it was the most important thing in the world. This tiny little diary changed that. It helped me see how many beautiful, subtle, ordinary moments I would have forgotten if I hadn't written them down. Things like a walk that cleared my head, a workout I almost skipped but didn't, a conversation that made me feel seen, a day where I felt strong or capable or just proud of myself. Those are the moments that actually shape us as women. Those are the moments that build identity. And most of us blow right past them. Looking back, especially at that first year of the pandemic, I realized how much I took for granted simply because I assumed life would stay the same. I assumed I'd always have the same routines, the same access, the same people around me, the same version of myself. And then everything changed. So now I can read those entries from thousands of moments and a whole identity away, and I can see what I couldn't see then. I was becoming the woman I am now long before I ever noticed it. But here's the wild thing I started noticing: the so called bad days, the entries where I wrote that I was exhausted or irritated or annoyed or in a funk. When I look back at them now, I literally have no clue what I was even talking about. Even when I wrote down exactly why I thought I felt that way, I read it now and think, seriously? That was the crisis? That was the thing that had me spiraling? And look, I'm not saying all negative emotions disappear with time. Some moments were real and heavy and deserve to be honored. Losing someone you love, a major life transition, true grief, that stuff is real and you can feel it in your bones. But almost everything else, the daily frustrations, the petty annoyances, the everything feels terrible day, those simply don't hold up. They don't have staying power. They felt huge in the moment because my brain was in full on tunnel vision. And that's really what I want to dig into today, because the way we relate to our emotions is one of the biggest reasons women stay inconsistent with their armed goals. Tunnel vision makes everything feel urgent. Everything feels like an emergency. You can't see past the discomfort of right now. And let me say something most people won't dare admit. Most women don't lose momentum because of a lack of time or ability. They lose momentum because they believe every emotion they have is a five-alarm fire that must be soothed immediately. And that belief, that's the real sabotage, not age, not hormones, not willpower, emotional tunnel vision. When you're stuck in it, your brain will swear you're never getting out, that the stress won't pass, the boredom won't pass, the loneliness won't pass, the urge to skip your workout won't pass, the craving for comfort won't pass. It swears the feeling you're having is permanent and unbearable. And here's the part no one wants to say out loud: that's the lie. a bold-faced, very convincing lie. Emotions don't last. They cycle, they move, they have a clear beginning, a middle, and an end, just like a story. But most women never reach the end because they're in panic in the middle. The beginning is simple. You have a thought, that thought creates a feeling. That's where the emotion starts. The middle is where your body lights up. Your chest tightens, your breathing shifts, your muscles tense or get heavy. Your body is literally broadcasting the message, hey, something's happening in here. And this is where the drama kicks in because instead of letting the body feel the sensation with curiosity, most of us start narrating doom. We tell ourselves things like, this is too much. I hate this feeling. I can't handle it. I need a break. I need something to take the edge off. This isn't better. This isn't getting better. This is the exact spot where most women abandon their goals. Not because they're incapable, but because no one ever taught them that the middle of an emotion is survivable, tolerable, temporary. And since they've convinced themselves they can't handle it, they start looking for an escape hatch, right? Stress hits, skip the workout. Lonely at night, overeat. Overwhelmed, quit on themselves. Not because they're weak, but because no one taught them the skill of writing out an emotion all the way to the end. And if you want toned arms, if you want consistency, if you want to step into the identity of a naturally toned woman, this is the exact work. The real issue isn't the emotion itself. The real issue is what you reach for when you don't want to feel it. For some women, it's a drink. For some, it's food. For many of the women I coach, it's skipping their workout or checking out for the night because today was too much. But whatever the escape hatch is, the effect is identical. The moment you rush to numb or distract yourself, you cut off the emotion halfway through its natural cycle. You never find out that it actually ends on its own. You never see that your body knows exactly how to process it if you stop interrupting it. And I want you to sit with this. The physiological lifespan of an emotion is about 90 seconds. 90. All the changes you feel in your body, the tight chest, the tense muscles, the shallow breath, the fluttery stomach, they rise, peak, and fade all by themselves. Your body is built for this. No sensation lasts forever. Not the pounding heart, not the tension, not the heat in your face, not the shaky breath. Nothing in your body can stay at a peak indefinitely. But here's where it gets interesting. Most of us aren't feeling an emotion for 90 seconds. We're feeling it for like 90 minutes or 90 days, or let's be honest, sometimes 90% of our lives. And I know what you're thinking. If this stuff only lasted a minute and a half, I'd be breezing through it. That wouldn't derail my workouts or my eating habits or my belief in myself. So, why does it feel endless? Why does the middle of a negative emotion feel like a black hole you can't climb out of? There are two big reasons. The first one is this: you keep telling the same story on repeat. Remember the think, feel, act cycle? Your thoughts create your feelings. Your feelings drive your actions. That loop runs the whole show. So think about the last time you were stressed. Not just the moment, but the conversation happening in your mind. Maybe it was something at work. Did you think, I don't have enough time one time or 147 times? Did you think, this is too much once or all day long? Most women don't feel an emotion once. They feel it over and over because they think it over and over. That's why the emotion doesn't fade. We keep reviving it with the same catastrophic storyline, the rumination, the catastrophizing, the constant retelling of the worst case scenario. It doesn't just keep the emotion alive, it intensifies it. And that's the first reason negative emotions feel like they drag on forever. You aren't feeling the emotion, you're feeling the story you keep pouring gasoline on. Now, the second reason emotions feel endless is because of the story you tell yourself about the emotion itself. Little lines like, "Oh, I hate this. I can't stand this. This is too much. I shouldn't feel this way." Those thoughts don't just describe the emotion, they amplify it, they stretch it out, they make it feel heavier, thicker, more permanent. When you're in the middle of boredom or anxiety or loneliness or insecurity, your perception of time warps. It becomes really hard to remember that there was ever a moment where you didn't feel this way. And here's the tricky part: if you don't intentionally challenge your thinking, your brain will default to the most dramatic storyline it can find. It will convince you that the emotion you're feeling is the only emotion you will feel. It will say, "This is just my life now." It will swear nothing is going to change. Now, the third reason negative emotions drag on is this: you've trained your brain without meaning to go hunt for an escape, right? For some women, it's alcohol. For many, especially my arm clients, it's food. For others, it's zoning out on the couch, scrolling, getting overly busy, skipping workouts, or obsessively reorganize their pantry at 10 p.m. so they don't have to sit with the discomfort in their body, right? Your brain learns patterns. Stress equals snacks, lonely equals late night eating, awkward equals skipping your workout, overwhelmed equals I'll start again Monday. None of it is conscious. It's a habit. It's emotional muscle memory. And the result is the same every time. Instead of letting the emotion complete its natural cycle, you interrupt it. Instead of watching it rise and fall, you jump in with a distraction. Instead of discovering that your body is capable of handling discomfort, you teach your brain the exact opposite, that you can't. Most women do a combination of all three patterns at once. I sure did. For years, I never let an emotion run its full course. I never questioned the story I was telling myself. I never even considered that the tightness in my chest or the heat in my face was supposed to be there, that it was part of the body processing something. I didn't know I was built for this. Instead, every time I hit that messy middle, right, the part where the emotion was loudest, I bolted. I grabbed anything that would change what I felt in the moment. And for me, this showed up a lot in social situations, right? Feeling awkward, feeling insecure, feeling anxious about being seen or judged. Instead of breathing through those emotions, right, letting them begin, peak, and eventually fade, I tried to escape them. I tried to shortcut the emotional cycle by reaching for whatever would make me feel different right away. This is exactly what emotional tunnel vision looks like. And it gets reinforced every single time you try to outrun a feeling with food, skipping your workout, scrolling, staying busy, or doing anything other than allowing the emotion to finish its natural cycle. Because here's the kicker: every time you rush to avoid a feeling, you're unknowingly prolonging the exact emotion You're so desperate to escape. You're stopping it at the midpoint and never letting your brain experience the ending. You're not giving yourself the chance to learn, oh, wait, I can handle this. My body can ride this out. I don't have to bolt. Instead, the emotion pops up and you immediately try to smother it, mask it, avoid it, pretend your way out of it. But the only way your brain learns emotional resilience is by reaching the end of the emotion and discovering that you survived it without food, without numbing, without abandoning your arm goals. And this is exactly what my 5 year diary revealed to me, something I had absolutely no idea I was tracking at the time. Without meaning to, I collected years of proof that I had emotional tunnel vision, that I blew past joy without savoring it, that I exaggerated lows because I couldn't see the big picture, that the good moments were incredible, but I wasn't present enough to notice. And the bad moments, honestly, weren't that bad at all once I had distance. Most of the things that felt massive in the moment were barely a blip in hindsight. The things I swore were ruining my day, completely forgettable a year later. That's what tunnel vision looks like. It shrinks your world down to one emotion and tells you this is everything, but it's not. And your body is built to handle all of it, the full spectrum of human emotion, without overeating, without quitting on yourself, and without disconnecting from your goals. Even long after I stopped turning to food and alcohol, I still needed to learn this lesson. Discomfort in the moment does not equal danger. Intensity does not equal importance. And the emotions I thought were unbearable were often nothing more than 90 seconds of sensation my brain was dramatizing, right? When you truly understand that emotions have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and that covering them up interrupts that natural dissipation, everything shifts. You gain a new way of approaching your body, your habits, and your arm toning journey. So this becomes the question. What will you do with those 90 seconds? When a feeling hits, right? Frustration, overwhelm, insecurity, boredom, will you automatically spin yourself into a frenzy? Will you repeat the same catastrophic storyline? Will you talk yourself into believing it's too much and you can't handle it? Or will you step into the think, feel, act cycle and see exactly how your thoughts are creating the emotional storm you're standing in? In those 90 seconds, will you tell yourself the sensations are intolerable and must be escaped immediately? Or will you start practicing a new skill? Observing your body from a place of calm neutrality, noticing how each emotion expresses itself physically without layering a dramatic story on top. In those 90 seconds, will you sprint towards your usual escape, right? Food, distractions, skipping the workout, or will you let the emotion simply be there long enough for your brain to learn no feeling is a threat? No sensation is a reason to abandon myself. I can handle whatever shows up in my body. Because every habit that keeps women from toning their arms has an emotion at the root of it. The late night snacking, the workout avoidance, the I'll start again Monday spiral, the panic that says you're too old, too far behind, too inconsistent. These aren't motivation problems. These are emotional regulation problems. And as long as you keep turning to a temporary fix, food, scrolling, skipping your workout, right? Numbing out, staying busy, anything that helps you avoid feeling for a moment, you will never see an emotion all the way through. You'll experience the beginning, you'll get stuck in the messy middle, but you will never reach the end, which means you will never get to the root cause of why you keep abandoning yourself in the first place. This is what I tell my clients all the time. When you stop automatically soothing discomfort, you create space to uncover why you were reaching for comfort in the first place. Every woman has emotional tunnel vision until she learns the tools to coach herself, until she learns how to separate thoughts from facts, urges from truths, sensations from stories. Without that, tunnel vision runs the show. And the habits that keep your arms stuck, overeating, grazing, procrastinating, quitting when you're overwhelmed, hiding behind perfectionism, they make the tunnel vision deeper. Those habits reinforce the belief I can't handle this. I need something outside me to cope. I need relief right now. I can't feel this discomfort and stay consistent. Every time you listen to that belief, you unknowingly teach your brain that you're fragile, when in reality, you're wildly capable. So, how do you start breaking out of this pattern? You practice 4 simple, powerful skills. First, notice the desire, right? The desire to eat to take the edge off, the desire to skip a workout because you're overwhelmed, the desire to numb out rather than feel insecure, lonely, bored, or restless. Okay, just notice it. And instead of reacting, practice committing to feeling whatever is underneath the urge, right? No matter what it is, no matter how inconvenient. Second, notice the story you're telling yourself about the emotion. This is too much. I can't handle this. I hate this feeling. It shouldn't be happening. It's never going to go away. That story is what keeps you stuck. That story is what sends you searching for escape. When you see the story, you can stop letting it run your life. Third, observe the physiological changes in your body, right? The tight chest, the buzzing in your arms, the heat in your face, the shallow breath. Almost no one realizes you can observe emotions with curiosity. You can watch the sensations without attaching meaning to them, right? You can step into neutral observer mode and realize, oh, this isn't dangerous. It's just a vibration in my body. And from that place, you can ask, does the dramatic story I'm telling myself actually match what's happening in my body? Almost always. The answer is no. Okay, fourth, use the think, feel, act cycle. Find the thought creating the emotion, challenge it, question it, try on a different perspective. Ask yourself, if there is there another way to see this moment that doesn't require me to abandon myself? These 4 skills will begin to pull you out of emotional tunnel vision, the same tunnel vision that keeps women stuck for decades and convinces them they're just not consistent. And you might be shocked by how quickly things change once you allow an emotion to be present. Once you ride out those 90 seconds, once you teach your brain, I don't need food or avoidance or distraction to feel better. I can handle this. Because the truth is this: the fastest way to stay in control of your choices, your habits, your arm toning results is to let every emotion complete its natural beginning, middle, and end. Okay. Now, before you go, remember that How to Eat Like a Naturally Toned Woman is officially live. And it's the missing piece your arm toning journey has been waiting for. So don't forget to check out the show notes and grab it now so you can start creating the strong, sculpted arms you want. All right, everybody, that's all for this week. Have a wonderful day.